going on YouTube? This is Adriano with Tano Sabers. Today I have a little bit of a different video. It'll be just going over some chassis that I had commissioned for this SP Sabers Snips set. So I've got both chassis here, the Shoto and the main. And then off to the side over here, I included the battery tabs that you will need, plus one extra in case, I don't know, something gets messed up and you need an extra set. I've got the buttons here. I'll include more, or a couple more, maybe two more buttons in case something goes wrong there. And then I have two accent pixels for the crystal chambers. So that is all the parts that I have these designed around. First, I'll go over the main. So this comes in multiple pieces. You've got the upper section that'll have your board and your button, and then it'll have the in-hilt pixel connector up top, and then the pixel for the crystal chamber is meant to go here. I have like a half of it cut out here so that the pads that are the ends on the accent pixel will go towards this side when you put it in. That way you can fish the wires through to the board. These brass tubes will actually have the wires pass through them. I'm just going to include these rods just as like a estimate for how long to cut yours, but you will need, and I will send you a link to the brass rods that have like a thinner wall. Those are the appropriate ones that will allow you to fit the amount of wires that you need. So these are just temporary, just to show you kind of how it comes together. I didn't happen to have any on hand. But so there's two holes up top that these will go into the upper section. I don't know if you can see that. There's the holes in there, and that's where they go through, and they go all the way through to the bottom section of the chassis, which has the battery and speaker. Make sure that goes in. Gotta finesse it a little bit. There we go. Push that through a little bit. Okay. And you can play around with how much these stick out into the bottom section, but you want just enough to be able to add some rigidity between all the pieces. So this is what it'll look like all assembled. The battery tabs go, here and here, obviously, for the battery cradle. It's designed for an 18650. The other one is designed for, I want to say it was an 18350, I think is the size. I'll double check and send that to you, but obviously that's two different sizes there. But going on down, 28mm speaker for the bottom. You did want the biggest speaker possible, and I was just able to fully enclose it, so hopefully you'll get some really good sound coming out of the main. But yeah, if you look down here, you can kind of see the whole wire channel is like this whole backside right here, and it's pretty spacious, so you'll be able to easily fish your wires through there. The tricky part will just be getting them into the rods up top, but with some time you'll be able to fish all that through and install this guy. So that is that one. Put that off to the side, and I'll grab the next one. So this is your Shoto, and it's designed the exact same way. So you've got the rods in the upper section here, board, button, pixel connector. On this one, I'll show it on the other one too. Hopefully you can kind of see that. I have, with the paint marker, I marked the center line for your button. So when you go ahead and put your button in and you glue it down, you just align the center of it right there. And I have the prongs facing this way. You can easily fish them through to the board. And then with this particular hilt, it's designed to have a magnet on the plunger and a magnet on the top of the button. So once you have everything in, or maybe beforehand, you'll have to glue one of the magnets on top there. And I did account for that, in terms of how deep that button sits and everything. So when you have it all assembled, everything looks right in terms of the height and how much the button or the plunger sticks out from the hilt. I'll kind of demonstrate that with the main later as well, but just kind of going over how these are designed to be organized here. Put this section back together. Get get that to line up. Oops. There we go. So on this one, oops, actually same thing. Forgot to show you in here, the pixel for the crystal chamber is supposed to go in the same spot. You obviously got your battery tabs for in there, the holes for the brass rods. And so this one, I think you could technically fit a 24 in this guy, but in my experience, a 22 often sounds better, especially if you can fully enclose it. And with the way this sits in the pommel, I think that'll produce a lot better sound than a 24. I actually have a hilt that I installed with the 24, and then I did this ROM coda recently with a 22, and this is significantly louder. So out of my experience, I went with that instead of the 24, so I think you'll be very well pleased with the sound that you'll get out of the Shoto. Definitely the main one too, because that's 28, it's fully enclosed, and I think I gave you enough sound resonance as well. But so hopefully both of these will sound really good. But yeah, they're both basically designed to fit the same way. One thing that I can see being a little tricky is fishing the wire from your battery tab here into where the brass rod is and up to there. But obviously, fish all your wires with it disassembled, and then assemble as you have everything where it needs to be. And then this is also designed to where you can put some glue for where the rods go, but then also this flat surface here and here, you got a lot of surface area to be able to glue. I would recommend once you're very sure of how you have everything installed, using some sort of super glue right there. And also on this surface here where this kind of meets up into this part of the chassis. And then you could put some on top of here and here as well where it meets up top. I probably put like a really small dab up there and then, fit everything together. So that is the Shoto chassis. I showed you that mark here. Let me go back and show you on this one. If you could see it. The center line mark is right there. It's that white paint marker mark. So yeah, those are your two chassis. Hopefully that kind of explains well enough kind of how you can go about installing it, or at least you can look at this video and kind of make your own game plan. I will be sending these out to you very soon, probably within the next day or two. But again, there's your main and your Shoto, all the necessary parts that I designed it around. You'll obviously still need to get your Profi boards, pixel connectors, and batteries and speakers and whatnot. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I know you wanted me to design the chassis and then you wanted to install it yourself. So if you run into any troubles, feel free to let me know. If anything breaks, feel free to let me know. Obviously, I have the STL for these. I can print you one up and, finish it again for you. So don't be too afraid to, get after it and try to install it for yourself. I'm always here to help. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything. I did want to show you how the button looks when you have it inside the chassis with the magnet on it as well. So the reason why I wanted to show you is because, see, one magnet is in the plunger, and this second magnet will technically be glued to the top of this button. So that adds quite a bit of height for this whole like button mechanism system rather. So how I wanted to kind of demonstrate that, it's kind of hard with nothing, glued in and whatnot, but I'm going to insert the chassis, push it up with the pommel. So this is where, so now it'll be in the position that the chassis needs to be in for the Saber. Obviously you'll put a blade in and it'll push down, and then the chassis will be locked into a position, and that will be with the button right about there, if you can see that. Right there. So the button is where it needs to be. This has both magnets on it, so if you can kind of use your imagination, that is how high the button will be with everything in it. And you have a nice tactile feedback, so it's perfect. Button looks like it is where it needs to be. It's a very audible click, very easy to click. So hopefully you are happy with how that came out. Buttons are usually a very difficult thing for me personally, so I'm glad I was able to get that where it needed to be. I'm just gonna put these back together. Oops. But yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to show you. I'll include everything inside your box that you'll need, along with all these little bits and pieces bagged up for you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And good luck with this install. I hope it comes out to your liking. I had a lot of fun designing these. I'm getting more into, kind of doing multiple pieces. And it's a little tricky to make it, rigid enough to be comfortable with it, but also very, decorative and nice looking. So if you run into trouble, just let me know. I'm always here to help. And again, thank you for your commission as well. I've got some more Sabers, and Saber videos coming soon. I do have, and I'll be doing a video on it. I have this Rom Coda up for sale. It is posted on my Instagram, but I'll have a video on YouTube here really soon. So if you're interested in that, you can either email me or DM me on Instagram. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and may the force be with you.